Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do like an overview of all my MAC foundations because I feel like it might help people that are kind of new to MAC or new to MAC foundations or just haven't tried a MAC foundation before, if you're not sure which one would work with your skin type, etc. So I like watching videos like this about foundations myself, so hopefully you guys would like to watch it. And I'm like obsessed with foundations anyway in general. Like, I'm one of those people that I'm always trying to find the perfect foundation for my skin. I'm going to just go through them randomly. So first of all, I've got MAC Pro Longwear, which is, it's got SPF 10, mine is in NC40, and yeah. Okay, so where do I start? The Pro Longwear, obviously in its name, it lasts all day. I love the coverage it gives. It gives kind of a not too matte, it's not dewy at all, but it's not too matte, and I feel like it's a kind of satin finish. It's very perfecting, I find. I'd say it's medium coverage, but it's buildable. It doesn't weigh my face down, like I can't feel it on my skin, and it doesn't feel all, you know, sticky or cloggy or anything. And I really like this. So this is one I've used for a long time. I would really recommend it. And also my skin type is kind of normal. It's a combination to oily, if that makes sense. So most of my face is kind of normal, but around my nose actually mainly I get oily towards the end of the day. And it's just one that I didn't need to reapply during the day. It didn't go patchy on my skin. If you want a long wear out of your foundation, and yeah. Mineralize Satin Finish Foundation. This has an SPF of 15, and my shade is in NC37. The shades of all of them kind of vary, sometimes depending on which one you go for, so it's really weird. But so this one I find it personally to be quite thick. I find it thicker than the Pro Longwear. I find that it does give you quite a glowy complexion, and it's kind of a dewy. It's not matte at all, I don't think. So if you have very oily skin, I wouldn't recommend this at all. I think it would just kind of slide off the face. You could obviously powder it, so that would make it last a little bit longer, but yeah, I'd say for kind of normal to dry skin, if you were going to use this one. The coverage of the Mineralize, I'd say, is again a kind of medium to heavy coverage. It does last quite long. I wouldn't say as long as the Pro Longwear. I do think this one does have quite a bit of flashback because it's one of those ones that I feel like it has little sparkles in it. So if you don't like those kind of foundations, you might not want to go for this. Next I've got Stuidio Tech Foundation, which is a cream, and I actually don't use this a lot, but when I got it, I really liked it and I used it really often. So inside it looks like that, and this shade is NC37 again. So you get a mirror, and you also get and you also get a sponge. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot to say what brushes I use. So with both of these foundations, sorry, I forgot to say. Well, definitely with the Pro Longwear, I use a buffing brush, like my Real Techniques buffing brush. So with the Stuidio Tech, I used the e.l.f. powder brush when I used to use this. So I used to just stick it in, swirl it around a bit, and then apply it on my face. I really like this. On my skin, it didn't actually leave me too oily or anything, because I was a bit worried about that with it being a cream. But I think it would definitely work on a drier skin. I'd say if you have very oily skin, probably not to go for it, because it's a cream and it's not as mattifying as some of the other foundations. Yeah, I just found it blended in really nicely to my skin. This one I'd say is, I don't know, yeah, it just blends nicely, and it's really easy to work with. Downside about this one is that it doesn't last long at all. Like I hit the bottom of it, as you can see, and that was only after like a few weeks of using it. I didn't even use it for that long. It started hitting the bottom, and then I think when I saw the bottom I was like, oh, and I thought it's going to run out soon, so I started using another one. But anyway, medium coverage, again buildable, so you could apply more and more if you wanted it to look a bit heavier. Next is the Matchmaster foundation, which is more of a new one at MAC, and my shade is in 4. I found actually with this one, I think this is the one, I found that this smells a little bit like Studio Fix, and it smells like paint, which I'm not too fond of, but the smell disappears, so that's not too much of a problem. With this one, I find that it is medium coverage, and it blends in nicely again, you know, to my skin, but I really feel like this is similar to Studio Fix, and I feel like I don't notice a lot of much of a difference between them. but I guess this one is kind of a little less coverage than Studio Fix. It's really good for my skin. It's good for oily skin because it doesn't make you too oily, you know, during the day, and it lasts quite a long time. Also with this one, I feel like you get a lot for your money because it's very big. Like if I compare it to the others, it's a big bottle and you get 35 mils, and these you get 30 mil. I'd say with this and Studio Fix, if you have very, very dry skin, I might not suggest it as much because they're quite mattifying. With this one, it's not dewy at all. It's kind of more like just how your skin looks, if that makes sense. It's like normal, and a bit mattifying. It's not too matte. Sorry if I'm really bad at explaining, but yeah, if you like that glowy finish, I wouldn't go for Matchmaster. I like it quite a lot. It's just, it's weird because I like it quite a lot, but then again I kind of got bored of it because it didn't do anything amazing for my skin, you know, like, so I kind of moved on to other foundations. I feel like this doesn't have a unique thing to it. I know there's the whole matching thing about your skin tone, but I'm not too bothered about that either. Next I've got, which is a really massive favourite for a lot of people, the MAC Face and Body Foundation. And this is great in summertime. My shade is C4. It's on your body, or you can use, face. On your face, or you can use on your body. Like people use it on photo shoots or nights out to make their body, you know, their skin look really, really flawless. It feels really refreshing to apply. I apply it with a buffing brush, even though I find that with a buffing brush it kind of makes the bristles really gloopy after. It's not really a big deal because you should wash your brushes anyway, but anyway, when you apply it on your face it feels really refreshing. It almost feels like you're applying water onto your face. It's that, and it's very watery. Like if I show you, and you can see like it will run down my hand. Slowly, of course, because I'm trying to show you now, but it's very watery, like very light, as you can probably see. It doesn't give a lot of coverage at all. I'd say it's light coverage, but you can build it up, so I'd say it would kind of stretch to light to medium. I wouldn't say it could go to heavy. Also, a thing that I don't like about this one is, and the reason I don't always reach for it, is because I hate that feeling of, you know, when you put foundation on before you powder, if you touch your face and you can feel it on your face and it's kind of sticky. It's the most horrible feeling, and this gives me that feeling. I don't know if that happens with anyone else. I haven't heard anyone else talk about that, but with this one I can feel it on my skin and it feels kind of sticky. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So with this one, sorry to put you guys off, it is known to separate because it is water based, so the water separates from like the pigments. You've got to shake it every time before you use it because of that as well. I'd say it's a dewy finish, definitely, because it's very light and luminous. So if you like the old dewy finish, you don't want a lot of coverage. Perhaps if you're younger, you might like it. And also you get a lot in here. This is, you get a lot in here. You get 120 mil. One of the only other ones I don't have is I can't remember what it's called, it's Studio something, and it's in a compact like this, but it's powder, so it's like Studio Fix in powder form. I don't have that, but if you have oily skin, I reckon that would work really, really well for you if your skin's very, very oily. Not very good if you have dry skin because it's mattifying and a powder, obviously. But the last one that I have, but I haven't used this, I have to say, for years, and I've just kept this packaging from a video like this basically for when I want to talk about it, because I actually really liked it. It's the Studio Sculpt foundation. It has SPF 15. I really liked this when I had it. I'd say this is probably a bit more of a wintertime foundation, even though there's no rules to when you use certain ones. I'd say this is a medium to full coverage, and it's more of a gel based foundation, so it's very different to the others. It's different consistency, if I remember correctly, because I'm not totally sure, but it doesn't leave your skin too matte. It's kind of a natural finish, I think. I might be wrong. So it lasted me ages and ages, which is weird because I thought it wouldn't because of the packaging looks quite small. You get 40 ml in here. If you like a bit more of a heavier coverage, Studio Sculpt. I'd say this is good for all skin types. I wouldn't say it's really bad for dry skin. Oh, maybe if you have very, very oily skin, maybe not, because it is a little bit heavier and you might get the sliding down thing. But if you have kind of normal to combination or dry skin, I'd say that you might get on with this quite well. I'm really sorry, I forgot to mention, because I thought I had it, but I think I back-to-backed it, the Studio Fix foundation. So Studio Fix is like another very, very popular foundation from MAC. I think it's the fullest foundation that they do, but I think it's kind of medium to full, like you could easily build it up. It gives a very, very good coverage, but it smells like paint, it has a strong smell to it, and also I think it's made with kind of powder molecules, if I'm correct, but it does oxidize. It's a very matte foundation, I'd say the mattest out of all the ones that I've shown, that's the right word. And yeah, so if you've got oily skin, it's great. So it's kind of like Pro Longwear, like it does last all day. Then you might like Studio Fix foundation. I've never worked for MAC and I'm not an expert or anything, but they were just my opinions on the foundation, so I hope that's helped. Oh, also, I just have to say before I go, I've actually started doing, so I've got a vlog channel, my second channel, which I always like link below, but now on there I've decided to do daily outfits, so every day I'm showing my outfit of the day, and let me know if you like that idea. Go and check it out on my vlog channel, I've only just started it. Okay, thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.